Well, the weather doesn't know what it's doing, whether it wants to rain or not. This is Whale Cove. Well, I will say it for the 1000th time. Nova Scotia is pretty. Hello friends, Tiger Coward here. Welcome to episode 6 of our East Coast escape. When I retired, I made a promise to myself, try and be less of a prick. It's probably too late to make it up to my kids, but what the heck, it's not too late to give it a shot. I said I'd live my life by 2 simple rules. First, I'm not going to criticize things I don't understand. Secondly, I'm going to try and find something positive in every situation. In this episode, I'm going to focus on how Cape Breton helped clean the bugs off my bike and how I finally got to use all of my new heated gear. So that's what we have in store. A pretty harrowing ride in the Cape Breton's Highlands National Park. Let's go. 10:54, 15 degrees, cloudy and gray, and we're leaving Ratchet Strap Motel. We're just coming into Port Hood, the self-proclaimed capital of Cape Breton. Temperatures dropped to 12.5 degrees, and it looks like we're catching up to the storm by the wet roads.
We packed up and rolled out at about 11, just as the sun started poking through the clouds, for about 10 minutes. When we got on Highway 19, the wind picked up and the fog rolled in and the temperature dropped like a stone.
It is getting windy. We're getting hit from both sides with gusts of wind at the top of that mountain. You see the trees blowing around. How'd you like that, Spike? It got crazy coming over the crest of that hill.
By the time we hit Inverness, we needed a break. Spike had an adequate coffee and I had a disappointing tea. Robin's Donuts was warm and the locals were chatty, probably because we were the only tourists mad enough to be out on a day like this.
Well, it is cold and miserable as we leave Inverness. Fog is coming in. It's down to 12 degrees. I suppose that's what it was when we went in, but I feel better. I got my insulated gloves and heated gloves on, and I put my heated jacket on underneath, although I don't have it turned on right now. We talked to some guys in Robin's Donuts, and they told us Meat Cove, it was only 8 degrees. Can't tell right now whether it's actually raining or we're just in such deep fog that it feels like rain. We're down at the bottom right now, and you can see as we're coming up the hill that we're going right into the clouds. We're just approaching the Cabot Trail, and the world famous views might be obscured to us by the fog. We shall see. And I'm standing up, but I don't see any whales. It'll be hard to pick them out today with all the white caps up there. Ooh, I shouldn't have stood up. That heated seat is on. And now I got a cold bum. Margaret Harbour. 5 houses and a church. The Cape Bretoners aren't as hardy as those mainland women who are down sunbathing. Although, to be fair, there's no sun. I thought we could get down by where those boats are, but I guess that's that's on the other side. I couldn't tell. Oh shit. Oh, the road ends. So this marks the beginning of the Cabot Trail, yes? Marguerite Harbour Bridge. Look at that beauty. He is. He looked like a bald eagle. The offspring of a bald eagle and a seagull. Did you see how he took off? He just stood up. That is windy. Well, these guys are real adventurers. Riding along the shoreline like this in miserable gray conditions reminds me of my mom. Not because she's miserable and gray, she's lovely. But because she's from South Shields, and my dad would call this a Geordie summer. Geordie summer day. Gonna have to pull over and put my phone away and take the media mod off this camera because neither of those are waterproof.
At Shetty Camp, the fog turns into rain. The temperature drops to 8 degrees and I put in my contacts as we brace for the storm. Then we headed into Cape Breton's Highlands National Park. The fog was so thick it rolled over my windshield. Twisty mountain roads, maybe 2 meters of visibility, no exaggeration. We rode like that for over an hour and missed all the famous views. Honestly, it might have been the toughest riding I've ever done. The silver lining? All the New Brunswick black flies are now washed off my bike. We ducked under the clouds and rode into Neil's Harbour, perhaps the cutest place in all of Cape Breton. And it doesn't seem to have changed at all since 1978, when I was here with my mum, dad, and my sister. We skipped Meat Cove, it was buried in cloud, and rolled into Inverness. I had pan-fried halibut at Coastal Waters. It was worth every penny of it.
Okay, it is 5 o'clock. We just had dinner in Inverness. And it is cool and looks foggy, but we can see the top of the hills right now, so hopefully we'll stay out of that. Okay, with this wind, most of the fog is finally blown away. Took all day. But now we're outside of the national park. So the road is terrible. Inside the park, the feds have done a good job keeping it nice and clean and paved. And outside, the municipality really has some work to do, but the curves are awesome. Have a look at this road. Probably the worst road conditions we've seen in Nova Scotia. There is not a straight piece to this road. And that makes it super fun. Oh, there's a big bump. Oh, dear me. This is Cape Breton riding. This is what we came for, not all that fog. Wow, look at that. Hello, Atlantic Ocean. Yes, this is what we missed this morning, Spiker. I've still added a little bit of fog up the top there, as Bob Fosse would do when he's painting. Yeah, easy to come into these curves a little hot, eh? Oh, what a great piece of road. Look at this. Talk about a snake. We're now heading west. It is 6 o'clock. And we're on our way back to the mainland. The roads are just incredible this way. Well, I will say it for the 1000th time. Nova Scotia is pretty. As we cross the Bedeck River, this intersection here marks the end of the Cabot Trail.
We rolled into Widden Park Campground in Antigonish around 8 o'clock. Antigonish is a gorgeous place, home to St. Francis Xavier University. Honestly, it's even more perfect than Acadia and Wolfville.
Here we are in Widden Park, Antigonish, Nova Scotia. We're at this cute little, we think is a municipal campground. What do you think of yesterday's ride?
Yesterday was tough. We went Cabot Trail, but it was really foggy, the worst I've ever seen. And I could only see your taillights for part of the time.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to enhance my rear lighting system now, eh?
You disappeared on and off in the fog.
It was crazy. I don't think I've ever had conditions as tough as that.
Go forth with an open mind and most importantly an open heart. And remember, self-care is not selfish.
All right, here comes our first water crossing of the trip. Don't dump it. Made it. That'll be my thumbnail. Water crossing danger.